Okay, so global warming documentaries.
Let's hear it, yeah.
I hate them.
Tell me why.
Especially when I'm forced to watch them in class because they just make me feel guilty for absolutely no reason. Because it's like, oh look, you're making the world burn up and have more fires and have more dangerous storms. Like literally in the video they showed us about how really hot temperatures in Australia by 1 degree Celsius killed 11,000 bats.
Really?
And it's like, wow, I'm a murderer of 11,000 bats. It's like, oh, that's on my, like, I don't get the point of showing that. Like, I know it's good to notice it, but guilt tripping people for like, I don't get. I feel like it's more passive aggressive because it's like talking about how we are such bad people for using this stuff, and I agree, but it's just that like after the Industrial Revolution, or wait, what is that what it's called?
Yeah, Industrial Revolution.
Okay. Yeah. Like after that, everything started getting like more fossil fuels, and I agree. I don't like putting fossil fuels and too much carbon dioxide into the air, but it's just that like we live in a civilized and the reason why we're doing that is because we're modern. That's how we discover new stuff. We have phones. We have just think of it. What are they trying to teach us? They're trying to teach us about global warming. Well, then teach us. Don't guilt trip us because it just makes me feel guilty. Then look back and I'm like, oh wait, it's not really my fault because when you're using fossil fuels, they're like, oh yeah, just don't use fossil fuels. Well, fossil fuels make up your fridge, make the microwave, oven, hot showers, they can heat stuff up.
And it goes way different than that. It goes way deeper than that too.
Yeah.
When it comes to fossil fuels.
Yeah, fossil fuels rule everything.
They rule everything. And if you decide not to go with fossil fuels, what type of fuels are you going to go with, and how reliable are those, and how safe are you if you go to war and you need to rely upon those fuels that are not fossil fuels? How will you stay economically viable in comparison to other countries that do use fossil fuels? It goes way deeper than you thought it was. For instance, Germany decided that they weren't going to use any fossil fuels anymore, right? They decided we're going to use natural gas. Why? Because it's natural. Well, guess what? Who's the number one natural gas provider in Europe? Russia. Now, Russia invades Ukraine. Russia says, Germany, you're siding with the United States on all these economic sanctions in Russia. We're going to charge you extra now for your natural gas. Now, you have to pay more for something because you want it to be politically correct and you want it to be good for the environment, but now you can't afford this. Or what if Russia says, what if you have a government that says, we're not even going to take our natural gas from Russia? Well, then how's everybody stay warm? Now all your people are going to freeze. You think they're going to elect you next time, the guy who made everyone freeze? Oh, because it was good for the planet, right? Well, people just care about not freezing, right?
Yeah,
it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to natural gas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No matter what happens, it's still gonna be bad.
And then you have countries like India who were trying to get the natural things, the sun, the wind, all the natural sources, right? Natural gas. But then they realized we don't have that technology to take care of all our people. We're going to go the old route. We're going to go through the evolutionary stages of starting with coal, which is way more CO2. We're going to go coal. We're going to do all these other things, but it's going to be better for our economy because we can have the infrastructure for coal plants. We can do this. It's more reliable. It's a consistent source. We know where to mine it. All these things, we're in an environment where there's a bunch of coal. We know how to get it. It doesn't cost that much. It's a consistent power source, whereas wind power is inconsistent. Sometimes you have power, sometimes you don't. So where are you going to put your reserve at, right? Well, then if you say, oh, I'm going to get huge batteries, well, those batteries cost a lot of money. And what happens if you have a fire? Lithium fires are very hard to put out, right? And so there's
they're really toxic.
Lithium's really toxic too. And then cobalt, who's mining all the cobalt to make all these batteries? A place that we decreed you shouldn't do that because there's slave labor in that area. It's all in the Congo. Congo kids work in these fields, and they're in a very horrible environment to mine this cobalt. Well, guess what? Every single lithium battery needs cobalt, and they're projecting they're going to need 6 times the amount of cobalt that they currently use, and already they use a bunch of slave labor, so they're going to have to use even more slave labor in an effort to save the planet. And it's like, well, what are we going to do? It's a very, very complicated situation to actually fix the whole CO2 thing. And then you have politicians that make it a simple thing, like AOC, which I love AOC. She says we need to make the United States a green, we have to make it green. We have to make all these new rules. No, what are they called? You said CO2, not CO2, but carbon, what are they called? The type of energy sources that use like coal and stuff. It's like, are they called carbon-based emissions or carbon? What are the bad ones called? You said it before. I forget what they're called. The bad energy sources. The carbon, are they called like
carbon dioxide?
No, they're carbon-based, or I forget what they're called. But all the bad energy sources like coal. What are the other ones besides coal? I know there's a couple other ones. The ones that are really bad, the energy sources that are bad. The one that's actually the best, which when you factor in everything, is actually nuclear. Because nuclear, it takes like one rod, and one rod will be able to give you the most amount of power. But when that rod is spent, then you have to, basically contain that rod, because now it's nuclear, it's reactive. But you just have to protect it, and as long as you protect it, you're fine. As long as you have enough space for all the rods, that's the amount of rods that you can use for the amount of energy that it produces, it is the most safest. It causes the least amount of CO2, the least amount of destructive forces. It's actually the best. Well, what's the problem with nuclear? People see the Fukushima whatever one in Japan, where that reactor exploded, and now you have radiation in the atmosphere, which is going to last for like thousands of years. So that's why people don't want to use radiation. So it's like, what do we do, right? What's your answer to that?
Just live life.
That's one way. What else is there?
It's bad to... It's like good to know that what's going on, that like what you do could really affect the planet, and...
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
and
being balanced.
it's like... It's good to know that, but... Like, how bad would you really be if you just lived normally? And I know this might sound bad, but like... What about if you're gonna die before the world explodes or gets too
most
hot?
likely, yeah.
Yeah.
We will have more fires, like we will have more hurricanes. We will have more earthquakes. We will have a lot more destructive forces, which will cause a lot more economic turmoil. We will have the destruction of plants and animals. We will have that in your lifetime. You will have that. You know what I think it is? You know what I think the solution is?
What?
And it's been the solution that you and I have actually...
Underwater cities.
I would love to say it's underwater cities, but it's not underwater cities. Silly. I love that, though. I love underwater cities.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the solution. It's
living on Mars.
No, silly. It's not living on Mars. I actually don't want to live on Mars. Earth is way better to live on than Mars.
Yeah.
The amount of time it takes to get to Mars will drive you crazy, and then being on Mars will be even harder.
How?
Because there's nothing there. There's no beautiful this. You don't have this on Mars. It's all red. It's like you just want to live on a red planet with nothing, no plants, no animals, nothing. The sun is not even as bright because it's so far away. No, thank you. I'd rather have this. I'd rather take my chances on this planet. There's a lot of beauty on this planet. Enough beauty. More beauty than we could ever... No. It's nothing on another planet, Jojo. It's what we can do here on this planet. What can we do here? It's the thing that we've done already, son. It's our philosophy. And this is what I've always asked you. Remember how I said, Joseph, every time I go to these churches, I always ask them to show me an example of a young person who's passionate about what they believe. If you're Mormon, I want to find a passionate Mormon kid that's 12 years old that can talk to my son to get my son excited about Mormonism. Jehovah's Witness, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever the religion is. Find me one kid that's passionate about what they believe, right? But then every time I'm pointing the finger, I have 3 fingers pointing back at me. I have to do the same with you. What do you and I represent, son? What are we what is our religion to the world that you could get excited about to help other kids to learn?
I have no idea.
Number one is minimalism. Right? We're very minimalist. Remember when we lived in that tent for 4 years? Wasn't that epic? That, you wouldn't believe how much carbon emissions we saved from living in a tent. I tell people, you hear people tell me this, you'll hear me tell people this all the time. Give me a cot in the corner and I am the richest guy in San Diego. Do you know what a cot is? It's a bed that you fold up that you put in your backpack. That's a cot. You give me a cot in a corner, that's all I need.
Or futon.
Or futon or whatever. Give me something that I could sleep on in the corner of a room. Give me a pad of paper.
And a pencil, and I'll have more fun than the person on the
person, exactly. That's how you, if you duplicate that idea and you show people the value in that, which is what I always preach. I always tell people, please show me another kid that has more fun than my son does. Please. Show me somebody that does more stuff, more variety.
And even more than that, off the screen.
Off the screen, that's what I'm saying. So this is our religion, son. This is what we're proud about. This is what could save the planet. And here's the thing, it's free. That's the crazy part.
No, it's cheaper.
It's cheaper than free, you know? It's like we don't pay for things like other people do.
It's not as free as it is cheaper, because like...
Exactly. It's like we get paid. That's the crazy thing about it, is that, and what it is there's an interesting thing in the economy where, like, you take two people, right? They both could live in the same household and not only save a ton of money, have more time with their kids, use less resources, be better for the planet, all this stuff, but they'd have more money in the bank. Like, it just, you go down the pluses, it's like win situation. But people go, no, I want to have my own place. And now these two people have places, and now these two people have places, and these two people. In India, every family lives together. They always have babysitters for their kids, for their grandkids. They don't have to pay for a babysitter. They don't have to drive all this time. And every time they drive, more emissions, right? And even if they drive an electric car like this one, still emissions, because guess what? Something has to power this electricity, and it's usually coal plants. So even if you have an electric car, you're not doing something to save the planet. Anytime you can create efficiency in your life, anytime you can create minimalism, anytime that you can work together with other people as a team in a community, because it takes a village to raise a child, anytime you can do all these things together, you are saving the planet. But not only are you saving the planet, but you're saving the souls of the people who work together and make these things happen. That's why I'm always about community. That's why I'm always about talking to the different churches, because these are the pillars in the community. They have all these people underneath them that they're preaching to. So what's the message? What is the message that we can preach to people that is a universal message that no matter who you are, no matter where you are on the planet, it works. It saves the planet. It saves our souls. It saves everything. You have more fun. You have more money. It's better for your health. It's like, just go down the list. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation. That's these principles. Minimalism, working together, getting rid of your ego, finding ways that you can get past, you know what a lot of people say? They say tall fences make great neighbors, right? I say bridges make great neighbors. Now, it's difficult because some people are really difficult to deal with, and people that go to church know this. They're like, oh, I go to church with you, we believe the same thing, but you go over there and I'll stay over here, and I don't want to have to deal with you, right? I get that. The 12 tribes gets that. They actually live together, right? They have to deal with people, and to deal with annoying people in the same household is like another level. But how do you balance the pros and the cons? Some people, I don't blame people who grew up in a household where they had to share everything. Like, imagine you had 8 brothers and sisters, and every time you wanted a certain Lego piece, you couldn't use it because your brother or your sister was playing with it. When they get older and they get some money and they get to make their own decisions with their own money, they go, that's it, I want to have my own space. I don't want to have to share with anybody. I worked hard for this money. I went to college. I got this job. I worked for 40 hours a week. This is mine, and I want it, and I own it, and I don't want to have to share it no more. It's mine. I get that. And you know what? For those people, God bless you. You get to have what you want. You worked hard for it. For the rest of us, all that I suggest is that it's a coat. It's a coat that you try on. You see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, fine. You don't have to be the minimalist. You don't have to do everything I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's an option.
Can I say something?
Go ahead. Tell me.
So about being minimalist and like stuff, there's one game it's on like Roblox or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this prison tycoon. But basically, what I realized was your main goal is to get like a giant prison or something that can hold like a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And for every inmate you get $10 per hour.
Okay.
And what I realized was like for every I think like 5 prisoners you need like 1 guard and then like 1 cafeteria row.
Uh-huh.
And you need toilets and like cell phone boxes and stuff. What I realized was after I pay all of that and I have to pay the workers per hour, I have to pay for all the stuff, and it turns out like in original if I only had 3 people, I would get paid $30. But like minus something, so I'd only get paid like $20.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get paid $20. But when I have like 50 people inside the prison, I'd get I get like $500, but then there'd be all these other taxes that would bring it down, and like it wouldn't even be worth my time because the money per hour or for the ratio or the unit rate wouldn't be worth it.
Makes sense, right? There's always pros and cons to every decision. It's called your return on your investment, right? Your ROI. What is my return on this investment? What if you don't pay anything and you get a return? That's like a what? This is like just winning in life, right? That's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that you and I go home, get on your computer. Not you. I have to do this. I have to get on the computer and I have to make invitations and I got to talk to parents. It's my job to do this.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say about like my thing is that when you have a like giant house or something, you need to work a lot, and you get paid, more, but you have to pay for a lot of more stuff. But when you're minimalist, you get paid less, but there's less stuff you have to pay for. So.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the conversation that Gabe and I were having this last hour or so was specifically over that conversation. What is the decision that carries the least amount of risk with the highest amount of reward? Now, you may not get the highest reward. You may just get an okay reward, but guess what? There's no risk. You know? I suggest otherwise, though. I suggest that there actually is a greater reward. It's just people, sometimes it takes them a long time to see that reward. Because we're very disconnected in San Diego. San Diego's the richest city in the United States, right? We have more money than any other city in the United States. We pay more than any other city, right? We pay a lot of money for rent here. But we're very disconnected. And it's hard to be connected. And so I'm suggesting that we pay less and actually get more than the people who pay for things. And that's the thing, is like, you're right, you have a bigger house, you have more payments. Is that what you were trying to say, basically? Like the 12 tribes may have like a big house, but like, you actually stayed with me at the house, didn't you? In the house? Yeah, you did. We played. We need to go back. We can go there today. It's Friday. Do you want to call your cousins and go to the 12 tribes? All the way to Oceanside?
Yeah.
You don't want to? Why not?